Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm on a beautiful beach photographing long exposures of the ocean, of this waterfall, and I'm going to be showing you the techniques and tips on how I go ahead and do it. Now you may not think that such a small filter can change your scene so drastically. Take a look at these images that I've captured using this technique. So stick around, I'm excited to get started. If you are new to this channel, my name is Shannon and I'm a full-time photographer in beautiful British Columbia. Whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply enjoy some stunning visuals, you've come to the right place. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Really warm fire going. Way off is where I was photographing earlier. Tent's off there, but it's such a lovely night. The wind has died down. Love it here, it's great. So this is the KW Revolution kit from Kase. All of these filters are magnetic and they magnetize to a really thin metal ring that you place on your lens. Now these filters are slick. They got a little band of color around each one so you can tell which one you're actually grabbing. Now this kit comes with an inlay ring where all of these magnetic filters mount to, and this ring is so thin and so small that there's another ring to help you thread the inlay ring on and off of your lens. I've heard a lot about Kase filters and I was really excited to get this in the mail and test it out down at the beach. We made it to the beach and the tide is out and I can see the waterfall down there. So now we're gonna pick our place to camp and call home for tonight.
Backpack show.
Got my bear spray here, all the sleeping bags, thermal mats, this tripod. I got an axe and a blowtorch. I didn't know if it was going to be super wet, but we had a great fire. I didn't even need it. Got the tent, all the camera equipment, and then a whole bunch of other miscellaneous stuff like flashlights, first aid, and clothing. So this is the case right here. It's got a little magnet right here that closes. I like to just pop this and open it up. And a lot of times I just do it one-handed. Open it up, grab the filter that I want, and then stick it on the lens. I also love Fjallraven. Their big pockets here are great for photographers. So when I'm taking a look at a shot like this, I like to just go around, make sure that I'm not stepping in any of the sand that I want to keep pristine and smooth. So I want to obviously step back from the waterfall, see if there's any shots here before moving forward. But I don't know which height I want for the tripod, so I'll go ahead and move up and down, figure out a spot. Perfect. Okay, now that I'm all set up, I'll dial in to the camera what works as a good exposure before adding any of the filters. And then I want to go ahead and put that into my PhotoPills calculator. So if you don't have PhotoPills, you can use that piece of paper that I showed you, and basically whatever your shutter speed is without any filters, you look for it on the charts, and then it'll tell you how long of a shutter you need for different filters when you apply them. So this is the conversion table. So you'll see up at the top there'll be all the different filters that you can apply. And then on the left hand side it says without filter, on the right hand side it says with filter. So on the left, without filter, is your shutter speed that you're currently on for a proper exposure, and then on the right hand side with that ND filter that you put on, it'll tell you what your new shutter speed needs to be for a proper exposure. There's also a really nice app called PhotoPills, and you can go into exposures, and right where it says test settings, that's what the setting is without any filters for a perfect exposure. And then you start adding what filters you want here. Say if it's a 10 stop, you pick your aperture, your ISO, and then down at the bottom it'll translate how long of an open shutter you need to have. I forgot to add that you don't have to calculate for shutter speed, but you can also calculate for aperture and ISO. Up in the top right hand corner, you can click on this and you can choose which one you want to calculate for. So without any filters, it might be half a second, but with a 10 stop, it could be like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But look how easy this is. Whenever I have it here ready to go, I just pop open this. If I want a CPL, a polarizer, I just snap it to the front. It's all ready to go. And say if I want to darken it a little bit, these are always facing me, how they're going to go on the lens. So it's really easy for me to pick it out, slap it on, take the picture. Now if I'm taking it off, since they're both magnetized, I want to hold from both sides and then kind of peel it away. Sometimes like even putting a hand underneath because you don't want to drop it. Or what might be safer is pulling them both off, taking them apart, and then choosing a filter that you want to go on. But look how easy it is for me to go ahead and pull out a filter, even just with one hand, and snap it on. Again, I'm always careful to not 100% rely on my shaky hands here. But it's really easy. And then with the color coding around the rim, you can tell what sort of filter it is. Now with the really dark filter, like a 10 stop, it could be so dark that you might not be able to find focus. So when you're threading things on, you can move the camera around, and that could cause you to miss focus. But here I can refocus quickly, snap that on, and then press the trigger for a long exposure. Now a lot of the times I'm picking them up just by the edge. These are very thin filters, but I want to make sure that my fingers aren't getting on them. So that's why it's important to have a lens cloth, so you can go ahead and wipe all the time, peel it off. So there's no doubt that these filters are easy to add and take away. But why do we need these ND filters or polarizers anyways? Well, for neutral density filters, I am controlling the amount of light that hits my sensor. So by darkening the scene, I can slow my shutter down to allow the ocean waves to come and go and create more of a blurred motion.
The waterfall also appears more full because of the long exposure, so that's a benefit as well. Now there isn't a perfect shutter speed that you should be taking because it all depends on how close and how far away you are from subjects, as well as in this case the waves, how fast they're moving and pulling in and out. And that also depends on the slope of the beach or how hard a wave is hitting a rock. Now because my position and how close and far away I am from my scene, I'm constantly changing my ND filters on my lens, which is why it's very important to have filters that are really easy to attach and detach at any given time.
So I've got the 70 to 200 here. I've got an ND 1000, which is 10 stops, darkening what I can see here. I've got a timer delay, so there's no vibrations here. I'm watching my feet. And I've got a polarizer as well as in the front because the rocks here, they're fairly shiny. So I'm polarizing the lighting off the rocks, and the greenery, it's being a little bit more vibrant. The sky, which is very blue, is a little bit more blue because of the polarizer.
Now I'm controlling my shutter speed by adding a dark filter. I can slow everything way down. But if I'm gonna shoot video, my shutter speed is already quite slow at 24 frames per second. And so I might want to control my aperture instead of shutter. This allows cinematographers to have a creamy, blurry background while they're shooting during the middle of the day.
Good morning, everyone. Sun's coming out. The clouds look amazing. And I'm doing a really long exposure. So I'm using my timer on my phone here. And this one's gonna be like a 5.5 minutes exposure.
So here's that long exposure, and then a few minutes later I took this image at a much faster shutter speed. Let me know down in the comments which one you like more. Have you tried taking a photograph during the middle of the day at longer than 30 seconds on your camera? It's cool to see who's dabbled in this and who hasn't. Now, to get you pumped about long exposure photography, here's more images from other times of the year where I've photographed using these ND filters and polarizers to take long exposure photography during the daytime.
We made it back. And the baby's asleep. Nice, win-win.
If you're interested in Kase filters, I'll have links down below and you can check them out. If you like this episode, please hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed, think about subscribing. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. Ciao.